Teal Hill, our first map, is very much infamous for being a gargoyle map. KraV opening ghouls, as is the norm. Far forward Ziggurat also is a speciality that he seems to like quite a bit, much more than many other undeads. He's gonna go DK first. He's gonna play this serious, it seems. We saw him before with Cryptlord first, which somehow even worked sometimes against Neytpoh when it really shouldn't. He loves playing Lich first as well, but rather on ladder than in the big tournaments, it seems.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was curious about the first hero choice, as in big games against Foggy, he still played the Crypt Lord and was kind of brute forcing it. But Foggy had amazing answers, and I think that was the series where he realized, it's not working too well, let's go standard. He's also known, or the self-proclaimed Lich King, after winning WarCraft Champions 2 and 2 Season 6. He was able to pick a profile picture, and it is indeed the Lich King, but we don't see him here as an opener. DK Ghouls it is, so standard. That is an all-new KraV in 2020.
And I think what we're all looking for here is the expansion timing. That is where KraV is best. Going for the expansion, going for a bit of harass, and then massing Gargs and Ghouls, maybe even Fiends. Neutron is certainly expecting this expansion as well. He's creeping aggressively in the middle of the map. Doesn't have much mana at all anymore on the Keeper here, in fact. But should be fine, I suppose. This expansion is really hard to creep early, so KraV probably, I would imagine, is not going to go for the tier 1 expansion.
Okay, maybe it is a lot of Gargs then. And then we have to raise the question, did he finally learn and go for Slaughterhouse? Does he go for Obsidian Statues to get additional regen, which he will need against the Demon Hunter second by Neutron. We gotta talk about Neutron here a bit. We touched on it a little bit in the pre-match and in between. It feels like this is a very strong Neutron at the moment. Sometimes he appears to be dwindling a little in strength, but then we saw him in WarCraft Champions Season 6, and especially the first game was so good. And then he made one mistake and lost the series because of it. But this is one of the scariest Neutrons that we've seen in a while.
In the matchup that always seems to have suited him. We'll see what he's going to play here. The norm nowadays to see is Keeper, Demon, Dryad, Expansion. That's a build that has been looking really strong for quite a while now. Doesn't mean that that is what we'll have to see, but is the most popular strat at the moment. And if we see a Hunter's Hall here coming down soon, then it's certainly looking like that. We have 5 archers for now. Could also be a bit of a blast from the past. Mass Air, of course, is what Neytpoh used to play to terrorize undead. But that really doesn't seem to be so potent anymore.
Not really, no, especially against the high-class, high-level micro undeads like Happy and Axelord. KraV, more of a macro undead for sure, so maybe against him it does work.
Oh, the Acolyte Scout sees the expansion timing, and he sees it so early. This could very well be a cancel that KraV could try to go for. Acolyte also denies himself. Nicely done here by KraV. Is he gonna risk it? Is he gonna bring out all the ghouls to try to cancel the expansion? He doesn't have to do it, because this is a hard expansion to creep. Neutron, when the tree is finished and walks over there, he's gonna have to creep this camp with most of his army. That could open up a window for KraV to expand himself. And knowing him, that's probably what he prefers.
Or he just goes through with double crypt Gargs. This is what we see in the main base right now, so it's not the one crypt gargoyle play that we see with an expansion, but might be a little more pressure, and then maybe a Tinker third follow-up.
Could also just be to expand, go for the Lich, make some Gargs, go for the tier 2 Expo. That's a pretty popular build. DK is close to 3. But the Keeper now is starting to find some kills. And that is, of course, the strength of the early level 2 Entangle. The reason why sometimes it's dangerous to play Fiends. They can also fall victim to the Entangle, and they are rather expensive. Unlike Ghouls, the 2 Ghouls going down is a nice start here for the Keeper into this mid-game. We are on tier 2, and actually double wins are coming indeed. Neutron is playing the Mass Air old school style.
With An alchemist even. That's surprising. These are gonna be massive, massive air fights. In case you're an old school Warcraft 3 viewer and or player, gargoyles were pretty hard to micro in air fights, as you had to right click in the air battle and couldn't just go with a click. Now they have a new ability called prioritize, so you can actually select what do you want to attack with a click. Is it air? Is it ground? That makes the Garg fight a lot easier, and this is not easy to do for Neutron at all. He has to overwhelm with mass, and he also needs a high level alchemist for that acid bomb.
He's been doing a great job with the keeper. He killed 2 ghouls before. He's making this creep for KraV quite difficult. He took a lot of damage, and he's forcing a lot of mana out of the undead heroes. He eats the Coil Nova, but the keeper survives. Just as poking and annoying by the keeper easily devoured like 300 mana there out of the undead. Another Coil Nova flies, but that TP is so worth it.
Absolutely, but there's still an attack coming, and if you can catch these hippos early, you clearly have an advantage, as you have the higher number of Gargs earlier, thanks to the availability of the Crypt early on, right when tier 2 hits, while the Night Elf has to go for the Ancient of Winds. Those will be unlocked with tier 2. Gargs attacked this hippo here, killed one. That's a nice jump start, but on the ground, the acid bomb is tearing these ghouls apart.
Hippo Riders get a lot weaker against gargoyles when they are mounted with these archers, which doesn't seem to make sense, but that's the way it works with the damage type and so on. When these Gargs could easily snipe the hippo. DK a little low mana now. And yeah, this is going to become a really weird air fight. Actually, Neutron is loading up these archers. This could be a big mistake, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't really get that either, as with hippos, you could fight the Gargs a lot better. And you can creep the red drakes if KraV leaves you alone at some point. I'm not sure.
The idea is probably just load up the archers now so they don't die right now to Coil Nova and such. And then when the fight actually happens, then unload.
Hopefully.
Oh, entangle, focus, Lich. Might be going down, but he's just fast enough. With that unholy aura. Gargs, excuse me, cancelled the Goldmine, doing a good job, cancelling a Moonwell as well. But sooner or later, KraV is going to have to fall back. But he bought quite a bit of time. His tier 3 now almost finished.
Ooh, can Neutron get a last hit here? It was close, but no cigar. Yeah, I hope that Neutron is remembering unloading these archers, as there was an ESL Cup where Foggy had a wonderful game against Happy, and then in the last fight there were a couple of Hippo Riders, not all of the army, but a couple of Hippo Riders still with the archers on their back, so he couldn't get the full potential in that fight and lost that fight because of it. You need every single hippo against these Gargs, and you need every single archer on the ground to support them.
Are we gonna see a move into Fairy Dragons now? Probably doesn't make the most sense. Fairy Dragons can be good, especially against fiends in a very high number, but against gargoyles they are horrible. Whereas the Gargs snipe that Drake really easily, get the Lion Horn, very good to bolster up these Gargs more with an aura. Lich, by the way, leading a dangerous life.
Yep, he can't chill at the pool right there. Lion Horn is exceptional because it semi-counters the acid bomb. Of course, there's still the damage over time, but the biggest asset of the acid bomb is armor reduction. And with the aura, you basically cut the strength of that first spell, the Alchemist, in half.
KraV opens up the natural. Is he gonna expand now, or is he gonna go all in? With KraV, the answer is most of the time expansion. Honestly, for KraV standards, this is rather late, but he does want to go to 2 base here sooner or later. And he's going for the statue, something that I was dearly missing by KraV for a long time, but is of course extremely strong for the region and also for destroyers. Soon to be coming in, destroyer form upgrade coming. At the moment, KraV is low lumber, but he's got enough ghouls still left. Can creep up a little bit more. But yeah, KraV has been broke for a long time. He still even doesn't have the orb.
Yeah, that's an issue with creep speed, for sure. At around 50, so that should be fine. We were yelling at KraV, please go for a statue, go for abominations, go for disease cloud. Do something with your slaughterhouse, KraV. and he finally watched the VODs and listened to the two coaches of the Back to WarCraft team. Isn't that nice?
Good movement here by Neutron again. In the early game was the Keeper solo movement, and now with the army he's also doing a good job preventing the undead counter expansion. 2-base is not something you can play when you're down a tech. If you're playing 2-base versus 1, you have to be up a base. Alchemist in trouble. Is there a staff for him? There's not, and he doesn't use the invul potion. Oh, huge mistake by Neutron. That was a level 3 hero. Lots of experience. DK and Lich both leveled up. Oh. And the good play turns into a mediocre play quickly.
Yeah, isn't that symptomatic for Neutron? So many things done right. Expo timing, army composition, leveling even. And then this one mistake, maybe clicking on the invul just a tiny bit too late. And that can ruin the entire game for him. Very expensive to get that Alchemist back. He's not part of the creeping process now. It's all going to the Keeper. Good solo experience, obviously. But, phew, that was a rough one. Ancient Django of Endurance, though. Probably one of the best items you could find.
KraV coming in with a big push. He's not trying to expand anymore. He brought all the ghouls, which means when the hippos unload, the archers might die to the ghouls really quickly.
Oh, the Novas
Air
also.
numbers here, absolutely crucial. We have higher supply for Neutron, but lots of that is also wisps. It's going to come down to the Nova and the Micro here in this battle.
He gets one ghoul for free, reinforcements caught off guard, but this tree is in jeopardy, so is the Keeper. There is a healed scroll, but no invul. The invul, of course, on the Alchemist, and that's the second kill of a hero. And now Neutron is playing StarCraft. Destroyer morphed and saved. And good luck defending your second base. Just laughing. At least in the chat.
He had a couple tragic games in DreamHack before when he lost to Razorman, which nobody thought. Big mistakes by Neutron losing these heroes. He just TP'd into the waiting arms of the undead without an invul potion. That is unforgivable, really. Neutron, he worked so hard for this game for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes at least. And I think in the end he only has himself to blame. Can he still win this? Can he get back his Keeper and come back in this game?
The level of play here, of course, so razor thin. One mistake cost you games. That's the case for Happy and Foggy every time they play. And this is, of course, the case for KraV and Neutron as well. You can have a great 10-minute game, but if your attention is slipping for a second, you lose your heroes and all things go downhill from here. Not only did he lose the heroes, he's also supply blocked, so he can't even get this Keeper back.
He can now, finally, has the resources perhaps for a Tavern Revive. He's holding on here at the expansion nicely, of course, still mining a ton. Gargoyles have two upgrades, plus the aura, so they're beefed up a lot more than these hippos are. Only 0/0 hippos. Going for a bit of stone form actually does not dispel acid bomb. That thing cannot be dispelled.
True that. Keeper is back with the aura. What can he do now? Massive Nova, Scroll of Protection. Neutron, are you in fighting shape? Around 70 supply for him here. Lich is out of mana, so maybe KraV's push isn't even succeeding, and maybe he did hold the second base without heroes, basically. What's happening?
KraV needs to be careful when he's going to commit here. If you're doing it willy-nilly and undecisively, you're going to lose the fight. Keeper in trouble again, by the way. He has the TP. This time is he going to use it? Yes! Shortly before the Nova. Nova coming in now. More hippos going down. Gargoyles. A couple still left. A potion of healing is on the ground. That's a gift for KraV. 48 supply still for him. Actually, forgets about the potion. Neutron has 56. Is that enough? He has to come back to the expo. These Hippo Riders are just not doing much. Hippo Riders are probably the worst unit that Night Elf has, honestly.
Here we go. Needs a great focus fire. Needs to stall more time. Region with statue and stone form is absolutely incredible. When will you commit to this fight again? Little preparation with acid bomb. Couple of hits with the ghouls. Oh, this alchemist has to use the invul this time. Still no staff of preservation for Neutron. Oh, big call Nova! Invul potion. This time it's working, but he has to get out of there soon.
They're both chasing after the Gargs. Everyone's low HP of the Gargs here. Some of them are going to use Stone Form. Archer's now finally unloaded, but here the ghouls come into play. They take him out quickly. Eats a ghoul with a Dark Ritual. That now is level 2. So much mana. The Nova hits big, and the Archer just getting eaten alive. DK, level 5 after one more kill. There it is. And now we have a level 3 coil on top to worry about.
50 supply for KraV, 46 for Neutron remaining. What can these heroes do? Chemical Rage, Acid Bomb, he's seeking his luck in hero focus, but if I look at the HP bars, this is not going too well, almost surrounding himself as Neutron with the Treants, and now he has to use the Chemical Rage to get the F out of here. Lich has an Invo Potion, can't break through that, and there is a Nova, and there's a cold end to the life of the Keeper, and that is GG. KraV wins map 1.
Some big improvements. Some big improvements, I think, from KraV. Remember when we saw his series against Foggy at DreamHack, and he was playing only Gargoyles and never adding a Slaughterhouse? That made a big difference here, I think, the fact that he had a Slaughterhouse up, and he got that statue here at the end to replenish hit points and mana as well. And look, he'll take a sip of that tiny juice box here next to his big muscles, and then he's ready for map number 2 already.
Yeah, to clean the desk as well, and off we go, off to map number 2. Neutron, how tragic, man. His fundamentals are so good most of the time. He has the right game plan, he has the right idea, he has very good execution for the majority of the game, and then this one moment and things derail. Can we get the train back on track for Neutron? Will we make this a full distance series as we've seen in the Americas yesterday in Hunter versus Hitman, which was quite a surprise. We give him a little break to meditate a little, get the composure, and then off to map number 2. See you in a bit. Back at DreamHack, ladies and gentlemen, we got the first map of KraV, and with that first map, finally comes the first tweet. Here it is. I'm pulling it up right now. We have seen him this weekend with Mortal Kombat memes. We switch things up here a little bit, and it's a mix of two movies, as Remo pointed out very, very well in our green room. It's Star Wars meeting Gladiator. At my signal, unleash hell. And yeah, new style, but hell was certainly unleashed.
Dude, Gladiator gives me some shivers right away. In this life or the next, I will have my vengeance. Oof. That was a good time. And yeah, certainly he did unleash hell. He did unleash vengeance. The undead late game heroes, right? We've seen it time and time again. So powerful. The keeper is supposed to be strong early, get you an edge, falls off later. It's a problem when you play mass air. At some point, the eye can just be like, yeah, whatever, you got hippos. I don't care. I have heroes, I have statues, and I have frenzy ghouls. There's no way you can entangle all of them. And this mass air style, I gotta say, it doesn't look that strong anymore. Night Elf has some strong styles, especially with the Dryad Demon Second and so on. Neutron, perhaps a little stuck in his ways. I really don't think this is the way to go.
That photo was a mix between Gladiator and Star Wars, by the way. Can you imagine in the middle of the arena, Yoda? Entertained, are you nuts? Asking this after a great kill. I tell you, who's not entertained? This guy, Poor Neutron. I feel like he's underperforming every single time here at DreamHack. It's so weird. Like, he does something so well, and then suddenly you just see him lose his hero in the weirdest of ways. I don't know what's going on, if he's nervous or like some other issue, but it would make me happy for him to see him play his absolute best, and not make these mistakes all the time at DreamHack, because I think he deserves to make the playoffs maybe one time.
Yeah, I think so too. He clearly has the potential to make it into the playoffs, and his biggest opponent is probably himself.
Yeah, the early game for him was so good there that even with a bad build, he could have won this game, but the first hero loss was pretty unnecessary, and then the second hero loss just sealed the deal for him. He had an Invo Potion ready, he had a TP ready to get out of there, and then he TP'd wrong as well. I guess he was under stress when his expansion was getting attacked, but he did have Nature's Blessing, Neo, so he did have a bit of time.
Maybe he meant to fake the TP, the staff, sorry, and then he didn't cancel it on time, and he was like, oops, like Keeper is in enemy territory now, and then he couldn't reach the Moonwells on the left. I mean, who knows, but he's definitely not playing his best, and it's showing.
All right, then let's see if he can step things up in game number 2. It is Northern Isles. This seems to be more of the standard when it comes to maps like Concealed and Northern Isles. These are probably the maps that we see the most. And so far here in Europe, the result that we've seen the most was a 2-0 for the higher seeded player. This could be the 5th time in a row if KraV continued to succeed here, or Neutron can finally make this a best of 3. Let's go! And if we look at the bottom left-hand side of Northern Isles, we see a guy who has so much potential, but also a job and a family, and maybe got distracted by his little kid. Hopefully, he can play his absolute very best now. It's Neutron. On the upper right-hand side, some people need a coffee to perform. Some people need loads of energy drinks. This guy is sitting there with a Capri Sun and delivers. This is KraV.
Capri Sun and Gun. We saw Lethal Force on map 1 with no expansion even. No expansion, just a push, even with statues. KraV is discovering new frontiers for himself and his gameplay. But this map is a lot easier to expand on. The creeps here at the natural a lot less vicious, so this very much could be an expansion play for KraV once more.
True that. Gotta save me here, bro!
Whoops. We're gonna see the DK first coming out with the ghouls. What is it gonna be? Of course, KraV is gonna, or Neutron rather, is gonna have to scout to
Whoopsie.
figure out what's happening. He brought a lot of wisps earlier on the first map. This time, also 2 across the map. Oh, he loses 1 to the Acolyte because he was busy with the first creep camp. Of course, ever since WGL, Neutron is paying very close attention to what happens here at the Tuskars.
Oh yeah, poor soul. Losing the Ancient of War there. Second time we see a DK. But this time, Sack Skull, you said it, expansion very, very likely here. And then it might be a very, very different game as well between the two. Does Neutron have this mass hunt push style in his arsenal that we've seen quite a lot from Neytpoh players?
Yeah, we would expect at least the Hunter's Hall, but we don't see that one yet. 400 gold, 200 lumber. Neutron, what does he want to go into? Last hit here would be amazing, but KraV secures it with the coil. 3 creeps still standing, but they're not the most dangerous, really. Trapper can be easily taken out with a bit of normal damage. No wisps here close by, but archers are coming from the main. Quite a few archers, and the tech is starting for Neutron, so he's not going to play this aggressive hunter style.
Okay, we've seen this succeed quite a bit. But maybe not his playstyle. Mass aggression, yeah, not too common to see in Neutron games. Was a pretty clean creep by KraV. There's still Blight. There wasn't a big detonate. Ooh, almost this around here, but I think he could have fought out pretty easily. What this is a lot of used mana for both sides. But if we look at the Undead and Night Elf bases, one race can replenish mana very easily and the other doesn't. So this might be an advantage for Neutron in the next minute.
It seems like Neutron had a great read. He knows that Undeads nowadays like to attempt the expansion, but if there's some resistance, just change gears and go for the tech instead. And sometimes Night Elves waste their time trying to be aggressive. Neutron realizing, no, he's just going to tech. I'm going to tech myself. Ooh, he's getting caught here in the middle. There's going to be a coil ready. Has to TP out. That's a little painful. That wasn't exactly necessary. The movement there by the keeper not the best, so that TP is going to be gone now. But expansion is coming. Tree of Life around 40% done, and this already can't be cancelled anymore.
He did scout it though. A little painful maybe for Neutron that he tried to staff out prior to the TP, so his staff is on cooldown for an entire minute, can't staff up onto that archer, but KraV abandoned the idea of expanding anyway, so there's nothing to cancel and maybe then it's not that bad. Creeping continues with ghouls. We got a Scroll of the Beast, which can be put to good use once the dispels are gone. But what do we do with this expansion? It's pretty much a similar situation to what we've seen in Game 1. Hunter's Hall. Am I allowed to call this late, Remo?
It's not going to be late by much. Tier 2 still taking a while. And I think you do want to go for the Demon Hunter right away anyways. Or Panda. Both can be good. Both with different strengths. Demon Hunter very good at disabling undead heroes, but if you go for Demon, you have no AoE. And that's what the Panda, of course, provides. If your opponent plays Fiends, sometimes Panda, not too impressive. But this is KraV. This is very likely going to be Ghouls and Gargs again. And Neutron does rely on the Alchemist once more.
Seems a little outdated. Isn't it all Panda these days? On the other side, Destroyers can soak up Drunken Haze and get a lot of mana from that and then be a little more powerful. Breath of Fire is still really, really good, especially when you face Ghouls and Gargs. And yeah, Alchemist, man. It feels like a 2020 fall play.
Yeah, absolutely not the biggest fan of it. If Neutron at some point gets tier 3 and can add in a third hero demon, I'm gonna be like, alright, you know what, this is not bad. But dual hero only Keeper Alchemist falls off so heavily. But I guess Neutron is going to be satisfied having subpar late game heroes, as he's gonna have a superior economy most likely this game. Tree of Life creeping up the natural, and the north he continues to scout. Early was an archer, now it's a sentry ward. Very nice play by Neutron here, man.
Okay, until now at least. We got a mana potion and a heal potion for KraV. Item on the ground. Goes to the keeper as a claw +9, which of course always helpful. Lich comes in. But damage is already good on ghouls as well as on the tree. There's not much surface to repair and there are no wisps. Is he just brute forcing this? Lich, DK, ghouls. Ghoul numbers are dwindling quickly, but he gets it. And this is, again, not too great for Neutron.
And suddenly everything turned around. I thought he would have Nature's Blessing. I thought he would have Dryads coming out, but no! He went for tier 3 quickly with the Hunter's Hall, which didn't do anything. So Neutron is playing this super greedy, and he gets punished, losing the Expo. He's going for a Nutria of Life. Oh no, never mind. There's an Ancient of War in the north. And now Neutron again stuck on one base with pretty weak heroes. Again, a good early, squandered. This time not by sloppiness, but by greed.
Yeah, wrong assessment there maybe. Thought, okay, I can handle this, I can defend. But all of a sudden, there's KraV knocking on your door and, yeah, knocking with a foot and kicks the door in. How do you recover from this? When you don't have an overwhelming hero combo and you have only archers to work with?
The mass archer style is something that Neutron also a while ago was favoring against undead quite a bit. Again, it seems a little outdated with archers slightly nerfed nowadays and well, A-bombs being quite popular. Of course, in theory against gargoyles they're good, but against the rest of the ground army they're gonna have a tough time. And also, they can get sniped pretty easily here in the mid-game stages, one archer going down after the next. But Neutron is not deterred to still get this expansion up one day. We see the Tree of Life coming now, and the gargoyles might not be able to find that in time.
Marksmanship is done as well. KraV sharking around here. He went for tier 3 a little later than usual thanks to the potion and mana potion that he used before. But again, what?
He went for a shredder. Neutron, how greedy can you play this? He's going for an expansion on only 5 archers, rushes tier 3 without lower units.
But he gets
a nice surround here.
He gets a kill.
That is a kill.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Shredder might pay for itself then. Yeah, tier 3, as I said, kind of late. Thanks to that guard play, commitment, slaughterhouse as well, and the potions. But they're still not the best answer to Gargs.
Shop being taken out. No Orb of Venom from this one. Neutron's also going to need a new shop. He's trying to staff in. Get that shop before the get that orb before the shop dies. That was nicely done. Can he get another surround here? That would be sick against the DK, but Death Knight is quite tanky. And Neutron still has the same problem. He's got bad heroes and only one base. That's not a good recipe.
Don't you disrespect my boy Alchemist like this. He's gonna be level 3 after this one. It's a tough fight against the Tuskar Sorcerer, but you know, good things take time. There you go, Acid Bomb level 2. This time no Devotion Aura on KraV, at least not yet. But we do have an orb in time, pretty much immediately after arriving at tier 3. So is Ghoul Frenzy. And Neutron still didn't mine a dime from his second base. And yeah, one base. It's, there's the trick.
Trying to protect it now with the archers, and the heroes are creeping. If KraV showed up down here, there would be 4 archers dying. So again, another risky play by Neutron, but I guess at this point he has to risk something. I really don't understand why he just doesn't play the reliable, good build. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he doesn't have too much experience with it yet.
Did he ever though? Did he ever play just the norm, the meta? Not really.
In the Keeper days, in the early ones?
He played...
That was pretty much the norm.
He played 1,000,000 glaive throwers though. It was the best unit in the game, as he told us multiple times.
Against Anna, he played Mass Air though, when Mass Air was the thing. He did follow the meta, also against Orc quite a bit, but here he's not up with the newest fashion that the kids prefer. He's trying his own style with the mass archers. We'll see how it goes. Against gargoyles, again, they can be good, but the question is, what are they going to do against the ghouls and A-bombs?
Not much, I guess. Can he hold the expansion? KraV is so close, has Ghoul Frenzy. Goes for Dark Ranger third. Trying to become a little necromancer here by killing all the archers with a black arrow.
That's such a tough fight. That looks like an impossible fight. He's got the worst army. He's got less supply. He's got the weaker heroes as well. At least the Lich isn't level 3 yet. It's the only silver lining here for Neutron. He's got one Orb of Venom. A second one would help tremendously. It should be ready soon. But the archers have to be so careful. Much slower, of course, than the Frenzy Ghouls. Look at them run. With the Frenzy upgrade and the level 2 aura of the DK, they're just so speedy. And archers, they suffer as we expected them to.
What archers? I barely see any. Ghouls have to retreat now. If there would be a heal scroll, man, he could hang around forever, but mana is getting a little low. HP on ghouls is getting a little low. Man, cannibalize would be a feast now for them. But you don't have to force the issue. Don't have to chase Neutron here. Your expo is up, and then you're not only better in levels, not only better in army, but also better in economy.
Looking better and better for the Frenchman. Seems like he's dotting all his I's and crossing all his T's. If he just rides this out to the late game, this very much looks like his win. Now it's going to be up to Neutron to come up with something wild. A crazy comeback play. The master of this is Moon. The situation that he's been able to come back from, absolutely breathtaking. But Neutron now has to come up with it himself. And what is it? What can he do to come back in this game?
Good question. Maybe some Sapper action could help against the expansion, but I'm not even sure if he's aware of this. And he's just getting creep jacked with a lot of mana here. No Demon Hunter, of course, so have fun, archers. I mean, there's a little bit of heal spray, but what does heal spray do against an instant Nova and almost instant coil?
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's gonna have the time here for the red camp. In fact, this tree might be getting cancelled. Neutron, heartbreaking series, man. It started off so well. 2 maps! And then tragedy struck twice. And this is going to be a cancel. Perhaps it comes at a bit of a price. Some ghouls going down. Some archers going down. But Expo prevented once more. KraV is going to be satisfied with this. He is now in upkeep. He's got lots of gold still from the second base. If you can take the cheese of the bread and see the item here, this would be a perfect creep jack.
Magnetor Reaver still up for grabs. Not the craziest firepower without the spells, as the Reaver is of course magic immune. Neutron plays this well so far, trying to create some distance, constantly throwing the acid bomb, but it's about the heroes now. Thank the Lord, there's Rune Braces. Oh, the archer! Almost blocking! Drops out of the Ancient of War, stands in the way of the Keeper retreating. Ghouls again, focus fire on them, but I mean, KraV, he only does need his heroes, does he not?
Yeah, and the Mass Archer style. We still see it against Orc quite effectively, but against Undead nowadays, it's been a while since this has been looking really good. Neutron stuck to his guns, and I can respect that. He didn't just become a slave of fashion and follow what everyone else did. He tried his own style, but perhaps the lesson today will be that sometimes you have to admit that other styles are stronger. GG will be called here, and KraV gets the 2-0.